The moment my mother snatched the warm bread roll from my 10-year-old daughter's hand and replaced it with a stale leftover from another table, I felt the last thread of patience snap like dry twine. We were seated on the shaded veranda of the Harbor View Country Club during their annual scholarship fundraiser. Linen napkins, crystal stemware, waiters gliding like ghosts. The air smelled of citrus, grilled sea bass, and expensive perfume. My sister Elise's twins were already halfway through their $78 truffle risotto, giggling as they licked garlic butter from their fingers. My girls, Lila and Nora, sat perfectly still, staring at empty plates because, according to Mother, children don't need extravagance. "Here," Mother said, sliding the picked-over basket toward us with the casual cruelty of someone handing out charity. "This should be plenty. We're being mindful tonight." The words landed like ice shards. Lila's lip trembled. Nora's eyes flicked to me, silently asking if she'd done something wrong. Across the table, Elise filmed her son dramatically cracking a crab leg for her Instagram story, captioning it live, "Teaching them taste starts young, nail polish." She never once glanced our way. For 36 years I had swallowed every slight, smoothed every edge, paid every invisible bill to keep the peace. Tonight the peace tasted like humiliation. Something older than anger rose in my chest. Clarity, cold and final. I raised 2 fingers. The waiter appeared in seconds. 2 fillet mignons, medium rare, please. And the 2005 Bordeaux Reserve for the table, not the house pour. Mother's fork froze midair. "Ava, we discussed keeping it reasonable." I met her eyes without blinking. "My girls are eating real food tonight." The steaks arrived sizzling, juices pooling beneath perfect char. Lila's knife slid through hers like butter. Nora closed her eyes on the first bite and whispered, "It's so good, Mom." I poured myself a glass of the deep garnet wine, let it breathe, then took a slow sip while Mother's face turned the color of old parchment. She couldn't scream, not with donors and club officers 3 tables away. She could only simmer in silence, pulse jumping at her throat. When the check landed, $5.20, Mother snatched the folder, scanned the total, then looked at me expectantly, waiting for the familiar rescue. I opened my clutch, counted out 6 crisp hundreds, laid them across the bill. "That covers our portion," I said. "The rest is yours. Enjoy the evening." I stood, took my daughter's hands, and walked through the glittering room without looking back. Behind me, Mother's voice rose in a hissed panic as the math sank in. The drive home was quiet except for the soft breathing of 2 contented girls in the backseat. My hands shook on the wheel, not from regret, from release. I had always been the reliable one. When Elise dropped out of design school to find herself, I redesigned her portfolio for free. When her candle business tanked, I built her e-commerce site on nights and weekends. When Mother needed someone to chair silent auctions or cover last-minute catering deposits, I was already there with my checkbook open. Dependable Ava. Invisible Ava. And in return, stale bread for my children while Elise's kids dined like royalty. That morning I'd signed the biggest contract of my career, interior design for a new boutique hotel chain. High 6 figures. I'd driven to the club bursting to share the news, hoping, just once, for genuine pride. Instead I got the same old script. Mother asking if the client could bring Elise in for styling, Elise hinting I should invest in her next passion project. My success was never celebrated. It was inventoried for what it could provide them. At home I tucked the girls in, kissed their foreheads, then sat at the kitchen island staring at my phone as the notifications exploded. "Mother, you humiliated us in front of the entire board." "Elise, jealous much?" "My kids know quality, you wouldn't understand." "Mother, transfer $700 now. We had to cover the balance on Richard's card. This is on you." I didn't reply. I didn't pay. Instead I went to the spare room that doubled as my studio. In the corner stood the old architect's table my father had left me, the one Mother called clutter and told me to junk after his funeral. I'd kept it anyway. I started clearing drawers, needing to move, to do. The bottom one jammed. I tugged harder. A hidden latch clicked. A false panel lifted. Inside, a leather journal, bank records, a folded letter in my father's neat script. Contingency plan for the girls. Equal shares. Education and future. Trustee instructions strict. My pulse roared. I opened the journal. Column after column of withdrawals. $22,000 for Elise's wellness retreat. $38,000 labeled brand development, transferred to Elise's short-lived skincare line. Monthly administrative fees to her husband's consulting LLC that did nothing but invoice the trust. The trust my father funded with $320,000 before he died. The trust mother swore was depleted by hospital costs. They hadn't just favored Elise. They'd robbed my daughter's future to finance a fantasy lifestyle. I photographed every page. I emailed the trust attorney at 3:17 a.m. Subject: evidence of misappropriation, immediate action required. 2 days later mother arrived unannounced, mascara perfect, voice trembling with rehearsed hurt. You're destroying the family, Ava. How could you be so vindictive? I handed her the envelope of printouts. I know about the $38,000 facials. The $22,000 rebranding. The fake consulting invoices. You stole from your granddaughters so Elise could play influencer. She blanched. It was family support. It was theft. I told her she had 72 hours to repay every cent or face civil suit and criminal referral. Copies were already with the lawyer and a forensic accountant. She cried, begged, called me heartless. I said, I'm finally being responsible, like Dad wanted. She left smaller than she arrived. Within weeks the accounts were frozen. Assets sold. The trust was restored, $198,000 returned. I used part for Lila's orthodontic, part for college funds for all 4 grandchildren. Elise's sponsored posts vanished when the props ran out. They downsized. Richard got a salaried job. Mother moved to a modest condo. I kept the old drafting table. Every time I sit at it, I feel my father's steady hand guiding mine. I no longer fix their messes. I build my own life, and guard my daughters from ever eating scraps again.